Teacher Education Curriculum on OBE. Desired outcomes of the teacher education programs, ideal graduate of teacher education program competencies. So this answer the questions like what kind of teacher we desire to graduate in the future? What kind of teacher will you be? What qualities will you possess? To address this question, it is necessary that the desired competencies and outcomes of the teacher education curriculum be clearly stated. These competencies will guide teacher education programs on what product they desire at the end of the education. What are the attributes of the ideal graduate? Next is recognizing the demand of the K-12, the framework of the NCBTS or the National Competency-Based Teacher Standards and Global Requirements of ASEAN 2015. A need to harmonize the teacher competencies is very critical. With OBE, these competencies will form desired outcomes of the teacher education program. Next is, with the current imperatives of the 21st century, the teacher education curriculum must emphasize teachers' values, skills, and knowledge that are fundamental in the good teaching. Teacher may not remain in the classroom, but may take on the task as a resource designers, program evaluators, training specialists, and other which are also related to teaching. Competencies for all future teachers in the teacher education curriculum. It is the desire that all the graduates of any teacher education program should have the following competencies to be ready to teach in the classroom. Here are the suggestions based on the CMO 30S 2004 and the NCBTS. Demonstrate basis and higher level of literacy for teaching and learning. Second, pursue continuously lifelong learning for personal and professional growth as a teachers. Third, practice professional and ethical standards for teacher anchored for both local and global perspectives. Fourth, create and innovate alternative teaching approaches to improve student learning. Fifth, experience direct field and clinical activities in the teaching milieu as an observer, teaching approaches to improve student learning. Sixth, articulate and apply clear understanding of how educational process relate to a political, historical, social, and cultural content. Seventh, demonstrate deep and principled understanding of the teaching and learning process. 8. Master and apply subject matter content and pedagogical principles and appropriate for teaching and learning. 9. Apply wide range of teaching related skills in the curriculum development, instrumental, material production, learning assessment, and teaching delivery. And at last but not the least, the 10th, facilitate learning in the various classroom settings, diverse learning coming from different cultural backgrounds. Now, for the intended competencies outcomes that are addressed by the different NCBTS domain. With the enumerated intended outcomes, the future teacher should be aware of the outcomes they should become. Using the National Competencies-Based Standard as a frame, as a global fit teacher, let us analyze the intended competencies outcomes that are addressed by the different NCBTS domains. So first, use specialized knowledge and skill in a variety of school contexts and in diverse students' background. The domains are diversity of learners, learning environment, and curriculum. Next, applies inquiry with the use of the research approaches and utilize evidence-based knowledge to improve teaching. In the domain addressed in the CBTS, it is the diversity of the learners, planning, assessing, and reporting, personal growth and professional development, and social regard for learning. Next, for the teacher standard outcomes, self-direct continuous learning related to own expertise for enhancement of the student outcomes and strengthening of the professional identity. In the domain addressed in CBTS, personal growth and professional development, social regard for learning. Next is maximize the involvement of education communities to work in a collaboration for relevant education reforms in the domains addressed in the NCBTS community linkage.
Outcomes for intended graduate of the teacher education programs as a new breed of teachers are the following. So first, we have multiliterate. So it is having multiple skills or being literate in both technology and culture. Next, we have reflective. So the teachers must have this kind of quality or attitude to be reflective, because in the future it is very important kay para maka-relate dayon sila sa mga experiences sa mga students. And next, we have master subject content. So it is must nga ang teacher kay master jud nila ang content para dili sila maglisod or maglibog sa flow sa ilang klase. And highly skilled. They are master teachers. Dapat master teachers jud sila because they are adept at both the art and the science of teaching. Not only are they highly motivated and committed to their student success, but they have the knowledge and skill to make their students successful. And next, we have sensitive to issue. So a teacher needs to be dealt with carefully because it is likely to cause disagreement or make his or her students angry or upset. Highly professional. So being a professional teacher means knowledgeable and enthusiastic about one's materials, creating supportive and respectful classroom environment, building authentic relationships with and advocating for students, being organized and planning ahead, remaining open to new ideas and continuing to learn, appreciating diversity, and making complicated subject matter engaging and understandable for students. So, dapat we teachers, dapat professional jud ta every day. Ika nga nila, be professional. And lastly, lifelong learner. Educators who engage in lifelong learning set an example for their students because they practice what they teach. This, in turn, encourages their students to develop into lifelong learners. Effective educators accomplish this by sharing experiences of working through the learning process. Number 2, teacher education curriculum. An example. Using the OBE framework, the competencies previously stated are now translated into outcomes. These are the outcomes we need to see in every graduate. Teacher education programs outcomes. At the end of the degree plan for elementary or secondary teaching, the future teacher must have demonstrate basic and higher levels of literacy for teaching and learning. Next, demonstrate deep and principled understanding of the teaching and learning process. Mastered and applied the subject matter content and pedagogical principles appropriate for teaching and learning. Articulated and applied clear understanding of how educational processes relate to political, historical, social, and cultural contexts. And next, we have applied a wide range of teaching-related skills in curriculum development, instructional material production, learning assessment, and teaching delivery. Next, facilitated learning in various classroom settings, diverse learning coming from different cultural backgrounds.
Next, experience direct field and clinical activities in a teaching role as an observer, teaching assistant, or practice teacher. Next, practiced professional and ethical standards for teachers anchored for both local and global perspectives. created an innovative alternative teaching approaches to improve student learning, pursued continuously lifelong learning and professional growth as a teacher. And now let's move on to content and pedagogy to achieve the outcomes. Course or degree contents. To become a teacher, always need or required a college degree because a degree is made of courses or subjects which are clustered as general education courses, professional education courses, and major specialized subject courses. For example, we have elementary level teaching for kinder to grade 6. So we all know this is the general education. So all the professional teacher here covers the areas of specialization or additional subject in a specialized field. Next, the secondary level teaching for grade 7 to 10, which is junior high. So this is also a general education courses that covers the major discipline, which is the English, Math, Science, Filipino, and others. So the third, which is the secondary level teaching for grade 11 to 12, so which is the senior high. So this is also a general education course that covers the major discipline in higher level of contents.
Examples of probable subject in the professional teacher education. A. Foundation courses. Child and adolescents learners and learning principles. The teacher and the society. The teaching profession. School culture and organization leadership. School community linkages. Foundation of special and inclusive education. B. Pedagogical content knowledge courses. Facilitating learner-centered teaching and learning. Assessment of learning. Technology for teacher and learning. The teacher and the school curriculum. Building and enhancing literacy skills across the curriculum, content, and pedagogy of mother tongue for elementary level only. Teaching the major field subject for secondary level only. C. Major courses for secondary and selected subject area content for elementary only. D. Experiential learning courses. Field study courses, field observation, practice teaching, classroom observation, teaching assistance, full immersion. Second is methods of teaching and teaching delivery mode. The methods of teaching should be varied to address the different kinds of learners. Time-tested methods as well as current and emerging strategies shall be utilized. These should be student-centered, interactive, integrative, and transformative. Courses should enhance the concept of learning how to learn. For future teachers, the methods of teaching should replicate what should be used in the workplace or school.
The use of technology for teaching and learning in all subjects areas is encouraged so that every future teachers will develop the skills to be ready to guide future learners, most of whom are digitally skilled. Whatever methods of teaching or delivery modes to be used by the teachers are clearly written in a course design or syllabus prepared by the faculty and shared to students. So, ang technology kay dakog tabang sa ato ang tanan, especially to those future educators. Kay nga naman, kay aron sila ma-digitally skilled. Aron ang ilahang learners ma-digitally skilled, labi na sa ato ang panahon karon, sa new normal. Ang atong gamit is cellphone or computers, laptop. Online class ang ato ang atubang karon. So, naay possibility nga kung dili ka digitally skilled nga teacher, kay maglisod ka. So, maglisod sa lang imuhang learners.
Next is assessment of learning. College learning shall be assessed in similar manner as all other means of assessment. It has to be remembered that in Philippines qualifications framework or PQF. There are 3 levels of competences that all undergraduate students should be possessed as evidence of their learning outcomes. For example, in a subject curriculum development, the desired course outcomes are: at the end of the semester, the students must have 1. Identified curriculum concepts that include the nature and the purpose of the curriculum. Number 2. Discuss the different models of curriculum and approaches to curriculum design. Number 3 is explain curriculum development in terms of planning, implementing, and evaluating. Number 4. Describe the different environment of stakeholders in curriculum implementation. Number 5. Utilize different evaluation procedures and tools assessment of learning outcomes. Number 6 is explain examples of curricular reforms such as K-12 and OBE. Number 7 is reflected on the value of understanding curriculum development as a teacher.